Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's episode is dedicated to Laura and Mike, who you may know better as Bunny and Fox. Thanks for your continued support, guys. That said, let's get started. RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 91. Today, we're headed back to Dornen with an artifact that will supposedly help end the undead crisis. But first, I thought we'd do something about these bandits who are headed straight towards Eltshorn. Now, we're only up against mid-tier bandits here, so this should be a pretty easy fight. Though this elevated terrain here might actually make things a bit more difficult. Our archers are up. We'll have them hold for now, until we've got a clear shot at the enemy marksmen. Well, the bandits are holding position too, so we'll have to do this the hard way. Potato lands a glancing hit. Bunny takes off a bandit's ear. Mark takes out an enemy archer with a well-placed headshot. Then he lands a glancing hit on a bandit spearman. Looks like the bandits are really digging in over there. I guess we'll move up and take the high ground. Weird. They don't usually turtle up like that unless they've got range superiority, but that's clearly not the case this time. Round 2. Okay, there we go. Some of their archers are starting to move out of cover. Potato takes advantage of the opening, shooting a bandit archer in the face. Then Bunny follows up, fatally wounding the bandit. Fox puts an arrow in a bandit shieldman's side. They're still hanging back. We might have to charge in there next round. Sergeant Baggins destroys a bandit's armor. Moving into round 3. And we've got zombies. Maybe that'll force them to start moving around. Fox pierces another bandit's side. Potato shoots down another bandit archer. Looks like most of the bandits are distracted by that Wiederganger, so let's move up and take advantage of it. Broderick takes a quick detour, cutting down the wounded spearman, then moving to join Sir Skelebit against the rest of the bandits. Casorin sneaks a hit past an opponent's shield, crippling a bandit's leg. I think that's everything we can do for now, so moving into round 4. Fox takes out the last of the bandit archers. Potato lands a glancing hit, breaking a bandit's morale, and Bunny immediately executes the bandit before he can flee. Sir Skelebit takes a hit, but it doesn't get through his helmet. He draws his sword and deals out a flesh wound in return. Vlad guts a bandit with his billhook. Henry lands a light hit. Dominic lands a light hit as well. Roderick cripples a bandit's arm with his greatsword. Then he switches off to his dagger and follows up with a quick flesh wound. Reinhard cripples a bandit's leg, breaking his morale. Casorin methodically executes 2 of the bandits. Janos finishes off another bandit. We're actually almost done here. Sir Skelebit lands another light hit, and takes a light hit in return. Broderick puts his dagger through a bandit's shoulder, then cuts him down with his greatsword. Reinhard takes out a bandit's knee, then finishes him off with a follow-up strike. Casorin lands a glancing hit on one of the last 2 bandits. The archers start moving up, keeping a watchful eye out for zombies. Yeah, we knew that was coming. Bunny puts an arrow in a panicking bandit's side, and Fox finishes him off with 2 more shots. Sir Skelebit severs one of the last bandit's arteries, and Blod swiftly finishes the job. The rest of the raiders quickly turn their attention towards the new batch of Wiedergangers. Roderick takes one of them down. Dominic takes out another. And Reinhard takes out the third. Oh, looks like Fox went up a level. Congratulations. It also looks like Roderick pulls MVP with 3 kills. Nicely done. Just the usual mix of vendor trash, so I'll pick out the best pieces and then we'll keep heading back towards Dornen. A couple of scribes wait inside Count Balin von Rabenholt's room. The nobleman himself is asleep in his bed, head facing the ceiling, his arms at his sides like some half-finished mannequin. One of the scribes steps forward. "The relic. Hand it over." This is very off, but you sure as hell won't waken a sleeping lord. You inquire about pay. Another scribe throws you a sack of crowns, the bag sliding across the stone floor. "Now put the relic on the ground and leave." You take your money and go. Well, I'm sure that's all normal and absolutely nothing to worry about. Let's see if we can find something else to do. It looks like Dornen is suffering from a new condition since last time we were here. Disappearing villagers. That's probably linked to this 3-skull contract, so let's start with that. Sigurd of Dornen's looking out his window when you find him. There's a goblet in his hand, and there's nothing but silence outside. He turns to you, almost somber. "When you came here, did you realize how quiet it was?" You remark that you did, but you're a sellsword who looks the part. It's just what you're accustomed to. Sigurd of Dornen nods and takes a drink. "Ah, of course. Unfortunately, it isn't that people are afraid of you. Not this time. We have had people being attacked these past weeks. Beasts of some sort are on the loose. We know not what they are, but only who they take. We pleaded with our lord, of course, but he has done nothing to help us." His next drink is a long one. When he finishes, he turns to you, empty cup in hand. "Would you go hunt these monsters down? Please, sellsword, help us." Well, the pay's not great, but we'll take the contract, of course. A peasant hacking firewood straightens up before you. "By the gods, it's nice to see you, sirs. I thought I heard word of some sellswords stomping about, looking for the beasts terrorizing these parts." You ask if he's seen anything that might help. He pitches his hands over the pommel of his axe. "Can't say I have, no, but I've heard some things. I know a man and woman not far from here got taken. Well, they disappeared together. Word has it they dead in the woods now. Barnacled up in the trees, hanging loosely by the gut, you know? Or, wait, maybe they just gone off on their feetsies to shack up together. Hell, that gal hated her father, and the kid was just a nobody with a flare of good looks and a charming tongue. Yeah, that makes sense." He pauses and then glances at you. "Anyhow, I'm certain those monsters are afoot. Keep an eye out, sellsword." "Yeah, thanks for all your help." Anyway, we've done these contracts before, and they usually end in one of 3 ways. We either run into direwolves or Noxerer, or we run into bandits disguised as monsters. There we go. Looks like we're up against Noxerer. I was hoping for something a bit more interesting, but this could make for a pretty tough fight. Well, we can see about half the Noxerer already, and it's mostly the smaller, weaker ones. We'll have to wait a round or two to see if there's any full-size Noxerer hiding in the back. We'll also have to be really careful about how we kill these things. We won't have much trouble killing them, of course, but the tricky part will be preventing their companions from immediately eating those corpses. If we end up facing more than a couple of large Noxera at once, it could turn into a full party wipe. Okay, the good news is that they didn't come with any large Noxera. We just have to be careful about where we leave corpses. Let's have our archers start picking them off, then we'll have our frontliners rush up to guard the bodies. Our archers open fire, efficiently killing 5 of the Noxera. But that barely puts a dent in the flock. The rest of the raiders start rushing forward, ready to turn back the ravenous tide. Alright, moving into round 2. Fortunately for us, these things are actually pretty stupid. They tend to mindlessly rush towards the nearest corpse, even if they don't have enough action points left to eat it. Not only does that waste their turn, but it also blocks the other Noxera from getting to the corpse they're standing on. Okay, let's keep thinning them out. Alessandro takes out a medium Noxera. Bunny takes down a second Noxera, but it looks like we're going to have to leave the bulk of the fighting to the frontliners. Will methodically cuts down one of the weaker Noxera, then splits another one's shoulder open. Igot cuts down 2 more Noxera with his great axe. Belfontan switches off to his dagger, cutting down a wounded Noxera and stabbing another one in the side. Round 3. We've got a couple of upgraded Noxera on the field, but nothing to worry about just yet. Whoops. Okay, we've got a large Noxera on the south. That is something to worry about. Our archers open fire again. Wojtek takes down 2 of them. Belfontan finishes off a wounded Noxera, then starts heading towards our southern flank. Woe hacks into the large Noxera's face with his billhook. Broadus decapitates a medium Noxera, then spins and cripples the large Noxera's arm with his greatsword. Reinhard clears one of the Noxera off our northern flank. Casorin manages to finish off the largest Noxera with a flurry of dagger strikes. Moving into round 4. We're actually doing pretty well so far, but we're definitely going to be seeing at least a few more large Noxera. Yeah, like that one. Oof. Okay, we need to start whittling these things down immediately. Otherwise they'll eat our entire northern line. We also need to clear out these Noxera on the south so we can start moving reinforcements up north. Belfontan finishes off the last of the smallest ghouls. Reinhard kills one of the large Noxera. Casorin clears another ghoul off our southern line. And round 5. Oh, we just lost Eraton. We'll have to kill that Noxera if we want him back. Belfontan clears our southern line, freeing up the rest of the raiders to focus on the bigger threats. Whoops. Okay. Obviously, I misclicked with Bunny. I got splits one of the large Noxera open, and Eraton comes bursting from its belly. The last of the large Noxera turns to flee, and I got mercilessly cuts it down. At this point, I think it's probably safe to say we basically won the fight. This is really just cleanup. Rowan mows down one of the last Noxera with his crossbow. rapport I got. Too exhausted to take another swing. Moving into round 7. Let's finish this. Our pole armors push the last 2 Noxera to the brink of death. And Eraton happily takes advantage of that. No level ups this time, and it looks like we've got a 3-way tie for MVP. Wojtek, Bagad, and Belfontan. Nicely done, Raiders. The loot's nothing but trash, of course, but we've got room, so we'll grab it all. The fight over, you walk to a dead Noxera and take a knee. Were it not for the gate of ill-shapen teeth, you could easily fit your head in the beast's oversized maw. Instead of admiring the dental failures at hand, you instead take out a knife and saw its head off, ripping through a very tough outer layer of skin before, surprisingly, easily cutting through the muscles and tendons. You raise the head up and order the Retcon Raiders follow suit. Sigurd of Dornen will be expecting some proof after all. Okay, job's done, so let's get back to Dornen and collect our pay. You put a Noxera head on Sigurd of Dornen's table. He looks up from a dinner plate, glances at the head, then at you. I was eating, sellsword. The silverware clatters as the disgusted man shoves the plate aside. A servant whisks the food away, probably to try to eat it himself. Sigurd of Dornen takes a satchel out and puts it on the table. 2,000 crowns, as was promised. Alright, another job well done. Okay, it looks like we're closing in on the 30-minute mark, so let's grab a round of drinks for the men, then we'll check out that 3-skull contract. Since we're in the middle of the undead crisis, this is probably going to be related to it. You find Count Halston von Ravenholt and a gaunt scribe staring at a headless corpse laid across a slab of stone. The head is in a corner, the eyeballs slanted, steel rods standing out of its half-carved skull. Seeing you, the nobleman offers an inviting hand. Nothing to fear, sellsword. As I'm sure you've heard, the dead are walking the earth again, and with that comes a great deal of speculation as to why. The scribe looks up, interrupting. Or how? Smiling, the nobleman continues. Anyway, Tonder north of here is being assaulted by these very monsters. Former humans? But I've not the men to send relief. You, however, are perfect for the job. Would you be willing to take it? Oof. Okay, that's a siege contract. That's one of the most difficult contracts during a crisis. But no one ever said that being a mercenary would be easy. We'll take the job. At least the pay is good. Alright, well, we know what we're doing. I'll pause the episode here to take care of trading and resupplying. Then next time, the raiders will ride to the aid of the village of Tonder. See you then. Hey, RetconRaider here. Well, today we took our first big steps towards resolving the current crisis event. Although the contract did kind of end with a whimper, it still counts towards finding a way to resolve the undead crisis. If we can complete a few more contracts like that one, then we'll finally be able to lay the fallen empire to rest. Of course, the trick will be actually surviving that long. Our first crisis contract was pretty simple, though the Necrosavants did pose a bit of a threat. But now that we're moving into some more difficult contracts, we're going to be seeing a lot of ancient legionaries, as well as at least a few fallen priests and honor guards. Next time, we'll be headed to the village of Tonder to help defend them against the forces of the fallen empire. This is actually a very important contract, because if we fail, then Tonder will be destroyed and rebuilt as a city of the undead. That will turn it into a special, high-powered undead stronghold, which will produce even more undead patrols, which will begin attacking other nearby settlements. That's what makes the Undead Scourge the deadliest of the 3 crisis events. If you can't keep things under control, then the crisis can quickly end up snowballing. Every settlement you lose makes it harder to defend the settlements you have left, and before long, you might find yourself in a no-win situation, stuck in a world of the dead with nowhere to rest or resupply. So, here's hoping that the raiders can save Tonder. Otherwise, we might be in for a very bad time. This is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, or the FanRun wiki. Links are in the description.